Saint Moloc was a Scottish missionary, and a contemporary of Saint Columba, who evangelized the Picts of Scotland in the 6th century. Saint Moloc was the patron saint of Argyll, as evidenced by a charter in 1544, from the Earl of Argyll, which states, "In honor of God Omnipotent, the Blessed Virgin, and Saint Moloc, our patron." The House of Lorne became the Kings of Dalriada, and eventually united with the Picts to become the Kings of Scots.Moluag was patron saint of the Kings of Dalriada, was the apostle of the Picts, so is highly likely to have been the first patron saint of Scotland. Life. Saint Lafay, better known by his pet name of Moloc, was an Irish noble of the Dalriada. There are various Irish forms of the name, such as Lafay, Luoc and Lua. Latinized, they become Lugidius, Lugidius, Lugardius, Lugarsius and Luanus. The name, as it has come down the centuries, Moluag or Moloc, is made up of the honorific Mo, plus the original name Lafay, pronounced Lua, plus the endearing suffix oc. Other variants include Lugdach, Malu, Molinarchus, Moloc, Molucus. Saint Moloc, the founder of over 100 monasteries, was a bishop active during the period of the First Order of Celtic Saints and known as the Clear and Brilliant, the son of Lismore in Alba. The First Order were most holy, shining like the sun. This is a clear reference to his membership of the First Order. MacDonald suggests that there must have been a vita of Saint Moloc that is lost because of his prominent appearance in St. Bernard's Life of Malachy. He writes, further support for this occurs in the Life of Patrick by the Cistercian monk Jocelyn of Furness, written in circa 1185, where Moloc is described as one of the 6 Irish priests whom Patrick prophesied would become bishops. In a footnote he adds that the 5 other priests were Columbanus, Meldanus, Lugardius, Cassanus and Creanus. Saint Moloc was born between 500 and 520. We know that he was a bishop in about 552 and that he ordained St. Comgall, his close kinsman, initially as a deacon then as a priest. Moloc persuaded St. Comgall to found Bangor Abbey at Bangor, Ireland in modern-day Ulster. Having helped St. Comgall set up this abbey, perhaps the greatest of all abbeys of its time, he took the road of red martyrdom and left with 12 followers to lead the life of a missionary. In 562 he founded his great community on the large island of the Linn of Lorne in Argyll, now called the Isle of Lismore, in Loch Linnhe. This had been the sacred island of the Western Picts, whose capital was at Barrigonium, across the water at Benderloch. The kings were cremated on the ancient man-made burial mound of Crochangel at Batchwheel, about 3 miles from the north of the island, near to the site that Saint Moloc chose for his first centre. Lismore was the most important religious spot to the pagan kings of the area. It was therefore the most desirable site for a missionary. Irish missionaries had learned to focus heavily on the similarity and continuity between early Christianity and paganism rather than the differences between them. The conversion process was therefore one of gradual education rather than outright confrontation, and there were remarkably few martyrs in the area. MacDonald describes Lismore as being hugely important, being closely tied with one of the earliest and most important Christian saints in northern Britain, Moloc, or Moloag. Tradition states that the rock on which Moloag stood detached itself from the Irish coast and he drifted across to the island of, according to the Irish annals. In 562 Moloag beat Saint Columba in a race to the large island of the Linn of Lorne in Argyll. Saint Moloc, a bishop, travelled with St. Comgall, abbot of Bangor, to obtain sanction for his missions in the land of the northern Picts from King Brude at Inverness, and Columba, an exiled penitent, was in this party. Dr. Reeves writes that the life of Saint Columba represents St. Columba as only one of the agents on this occasion, contradicting Adam Nin's claim that Columba was the leader of the mission. Ian Bradley writes, "It certainly seems on the best available evidence we now have that Columba does not deserve the accolade of apostle to the Picts. His forays into Pictish territory seem to have been few and far between, and it is highly doubtful that he felt any evangelistic impulse to convert particular people to Christianity." This supports Smith's view that Columba was a saint of the Saint and that he rarely ventured out of the territory. As we know, Moloc was the patron saint of the Saint. It is speculated that King Brude preferred Moloc to Columba because of Columba's close relation to the Gaelic leadership of Dalriada. Columba could not speak the language of the Picts, whereas Moloc was fluent. This could explain why Moloc evangelized largely Pictish areas and Columba stayed within the sphere of Dalriada influence. After founding an island monastery on the Isle of Lismore, Moloc went on to found two other great centres in the land of the Picts at Rosemarkie and Mortlake. These were his three centres of teaching, and it is significant that all three were to become the seats of the Roman Catholic sees of the Isles, Ross and Aberdeen. It is claimed in the biography of Saint Moloc that Moloc was the founder of 100 monasteries in Dark Ages Scotland. Moloc died in Rosemarkie, Scotland on the 25th of June 592. The Annals of Ulster record the death of Legate of Lismore in 592. Habitus Lugid Lismore. Moloc is said to have been buried at Rosemarkie on the Moray Firth, though his remains were later transported to Lismore, and honoured in the cathedral which bore his name. The co-ob, or successor, of Saint Moloc is the Livingston chief of the clan Maclay. This Livingston family of Lismore had long been the hereditary abbots of Lismore and, hence, possessors of the crozier of the saint. The bell of Saint Moloc was in existence until the 16th century, when it disappeared during the Reformation. An ancient bell found at Kilmichael Glassery, Argyll, was thought to have been the lost bell. Veneration as a saint. Saint derives from the Latin word sanctus, meaning holy, and is historically reserved in Christian tradition to those whose lives exhibited heroic virtue and sanctity, above and beyond what is ordinary. The feast day of Saint Moloc was restored in 1898 by Pope Leo XIII. He is one of the 48 saints referred to in the Laura Missal used by churches of Ireland, Scotland, Britain, France, Germany, Switzerland, and northern Italy. St. Lewis of Lismore, pray for us. Legacy and dedications. Several churches were dedicated to Saint Moloc, including Saint Moloc's Cathedral, Lismore, Temple Moloc, Lewis, Kirk Mallow, the Isle of Man. Other sites include churches at Clat and Tarland in Aberdeenshire, and also churches on Skye, Mull, Rossi, Tyree and Pabay. At Alath in Perth and Kinross, the ruins of a church, known today as the Alath Arches, were built on the site of an older 6th century church dedicated to the saint. At Mortlake in Banffshire, where some of his relics were preserved, an abbey was founded in 1010 by Maelco Louis II of Scotland, in thanks for a victory in which the Scots had invoked the aid of Saint Moloc. On Lewis, Saint Moloc was invoked for cures from madness. At Clat there was held annually Saint Malac's Fair, which lasted 8 days. At Tarland there was a Luach Fair, which is thought to have been in honour of Saint Moloc, and at Alath, Similog Fair was celebrated.